कहें सब बच्चे बूढ़े जवान काफिर काफिर शिया काफिर 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 शिया काफिर
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. According to an official source in Tehran, the capital of Iran, there has been a 635% increase in the number of teenage girls in prostitution, or as they so proudly call it in Iran, Mutah. The magnitude of this statistic conveys just how rapidly this form of abuse has grown. In Tehran, there is an estimated 84,000 women and girls in prostitution. Many of them can be found on the streets, while others can be found in the 250 brothels that reportedly operate in the city. The trade is also international, not just limited to Iran. Thousands of Iranian women and girls have been contracted in Mutah to foreigners abroad. The head of Iran's Interpol Bureau believes that Mutah trade is one of the most profitable activities in Iran today. When we look at Iran, we see a very high unemployment rate. 28% for youth, 15 to 29 years of age, and 43% of the women, 15 to 20 years of age, are out of work and unemployed. This is playing a serious factor in driving restless youth to accept Mutah. The Mutah pimps take advantage of any opportunity in which they can trick women and children who are vulnerable. For example, following the recent earthquake in Van, orphan girls have been contracted out in Tehran, where Iranian and foreign traders meet. Popular destinations for girls sent from Mutah are in the Arab countries within the Persian Gulf. According to the head of Tehran's province judiciary, Mutah traffickers target girls between the ages of 13 and 17, although there have been some reports that some of the girls found are as young as 8 and 10, and they are sent to Arab countries, Pakistan, Europe, and the Persian Gulf. The number of Iranian women and girls who are deported from the Persian Gulf countries indicates the magnitude of the trade. Police have uncovered a number of Mutah rings operating from Tehran that have sold girls as far as France, Britain, and Turkey as well. One network based in Turkey bought smuggled Iranian women and girls, gave them fake passports, and transported them to European and Persian Gulf countries. In one case, a 16-year-old girl was smuggled to Turkey and then sold in Mutah to a 58-year-old European national for $20,000. In northeastern Iranian province of Khorasan, local police reports that girls are being sold in the Mutah to Pakistani men. The Pakistani men temporarily marry the girls, ranging in ages from 12 to 20. They are also sent to Mutah brothels called Khorabat in Pakistan. One network was caught contacting poor families around Mashhad and offering to temporarily marry girls. The girls were then taken through Afghanistan to Pakistan, where they were sent to Mutah brothels to work. In southeastern border province of Sistan Baluchistan, thousands of Iranian girls reportedly have been sold in Mutah to Afghani men. Their final destinations, however, are unknown. One factor contributing to the increase in prostitution and the sex slave Mutah trade is the number of teen girls who are running away from their homes. As a result of runaways, in Tehran alone there is an estimated 25,000 street children, most of them girls. Mutah pimps prey upon these street children, runaways, and vulnerable high school girls in city parks. In one case, a woman was discovered selling Iranian women to men in the Persian Gulf countries for 4 years. She had hunted down runaway girls and sold them. She even sold her own daughter for $11,000. In cities, shelters have been set up to provide assistance for runaways. Officials who have run these shelters are often corrupt. They run prostitution rings using the girls that they keep within their shelters. For example, in Karaj, where a former head of the Revolutionary Tribunal and 7 other senior officials were arrested in connection with a Mutah prostitution ring that used 12 to 18-year-old girls from a shelter called the Center of Islamic Orientation. Other instances of corruption abound. There is a judge in Karaj who was involved in a network that identified young girls to be sold in Mutah abroad. And in Qom, there was a center for religious training in Iran. When a Mutah prostitution ring was broken up, some of the people arrested were from the government agencies, including the Department of Justice. Officials of the Social Department of Interior Ministry are worried about the high increase in sexually transmitted diseases, STDs. Unlike the other Muslim countries, which have a relatively low HIV rate in comparison to the rest of the world, Iran is facing a long and hard battle with HIV due to the institution of Mutah, which is not permissible in the Sunni school of thought. Ahl al-Sunnah completely rejects, condemns, teaches against, and warns against such acts. At least 500,000 women make their livings from Mutah in Iran, and at least 1.7 million women in Iran have engaged in it on a regular basis, according to sources from Tehran, the capital of Iran. When we read and when we hear things like these, it should open our eyes, our ears, and our minds. We know here in the West things are corrupt. For instance, in the United States, when a girl runs away from home, when she decides that she can make it on her own, she runs away, she takes very little money, she's poor, she's desperate to do anything she can do to survive, because now she's on her own, she's alone. It is a true and known fact that pimps, just your everyday regular pimps, secularists, maybe a Christian, maybe a Jew, who knows, they will prey upon these runaway girls, and they will trick her into becoming a prostitute for them. They will sell her out as their pimp. Now, what is different from these regular day, everyday pimps in America, in the UK, in other Western nations? What separates them from these so-called clerics, or as we call them, Mutah pimps, or as they call them in Iran, imams? What separates them? The only reason why what is happening in Iran is seen different than what is happening in America and in Western nations is because in Iran, they put a coat on it. They put a coat of a religious institution on it. They call it Mutah. They say our religion allows this. And they teach this, they propagate this, and they build it into the minds of the people. So when the people see it happening, they do not speak out against it. I remind you of a statistic that we read within the article. 500,000 women make their living from Mutah in Iran. And at least 1.7 million of the women in Iran have engaged on it on a regular basis. Now, reading this can bring many feelings to the mind. It can bring many feelings to the heart. Disgust, anger, sadness. The list can go on. But it should bring one thought to the mind. Is this what Rasulullah ﷺ taught us? Is this the Islam which was revealed to us by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? Or is this a deviated path, a mental disease, a corrupt belief created from the desires of men? May Allah guide us to the straight path, which He has ordained for us to become a muttaqun. And may Allah protect the modesty of our Muslim sisters. And may our Muslim sisters know that you are better than that. That you do not belong as a prostitute to the desires of men. You are believing women. Protect yourself as one. There are better things for you. We ask our Muslim sisters to do all they can to support and help the women in Iran escape this kind of sexual slavery to these deviants, these Rafida. Inshallah. Ameen.